You're saying that men fall in love through absence, and that's indeed true. I will share with you another part of the book that I have recently read from The 7 Secrets of Highly Successful Single Women. Men fall in love in the silence. Again, I repeat the fact that men do not need a constant stream of conversation to fall in love with a woman. Instead, once he's found you, he might not be the super communicator you hoped he would be. He might not call or text you straight away. He might not even call or text you for several weeks. This doesn't mean a thing. Do not fret. As we learned in Secret 3, men communicate entirely differently to the way women communicate. He's never ever going to communicate with you the way your girlfriends do. He might not text or call to say he had a great date. He might not call you to ask out again anytime soon. Sometimes men take weeks, even months to follow up communication with you. But if you are simply patient and move on with your life, you have a better chance than if you disrupt this thought process and text or call him in the interim. Frank met Sarah at a pub and they instantly hit it off. They had a few drinks together and he got her number. 5 days later, he sent her a text message asking her to meet up for a date for 2 weeks' time. Frank needed the time and space to get into this headspace of getting out there and actually dating again. He had just come out of a nasty breakup and it was a big step for him to get a girl's number, let alone ask her out, let alone kiss her. Because Sarah waited patiently and then was truly happy but not desperate to see him, he felt relaxed and comfortable around her. After the date, he didn't call or text her for another 3 days. But she knew that he had to work out in his head extremely carefully whether or not he really wanted to get into something else. Another case in point is John, who kissed Rachel after a few dates at a birthday party of a mutual friend. She was delighted and he finally had the courage to make the move. The only problem was that it had been 5 days and she hadn't heard anything from him. Instead of texting him, she knew that as a smart, successful single woman, she should wait it out until he texted her. She did not want to interrupt the male thought process. Sure enough, 7 days later, he called to ask her out. They've gotten engaged, and when she asked him why he took that long to call after their first kiss, he replied with, "What are you talking about? As soon as I thought of you, I called you." In other words, men are not sitting around thinking about us every hour of every day. They are getting on with their own lives, making plans, bettering themselves, spending time with the boys and not thinking constantly about women.
They would chase you and go crazy over you when you give them silence. Silence is the #1 key in any equation when you trying to get this person to chase you and want you again, right? It's simply because, look at this. You showing confidence, you're showing stability, and you also showing that, hey, I'm cool with or without you, right? I'm the prize in this situation. And if you want to get back with me, I'm going to stand on silence, right? I'm going to give you this right here, like that emoji, and move on with my life. And they're going to feel that because they like, yo, this person thinking that 1, they better than me, but then 2, they really don't want me in their life. They really don't need me. It's going to mess with their ego. It's also going to mess with their attention span too, because nowadays, everybody's attention span is like this. You always thinking that you can find something better right away, and you thinking that, hey, you wasn't a problem. But the people who really put in the work, the people who really say, hey, at the end of the day, I need to work on myself. I did wrongs, but I'm about to adjust it, right? And you start to stand on this silence and you start to go on your own path, they're going to chase you. And on top of that, they about to go crazy because they like, why are you not giving me this attention? Why are you not giving me this validation, right? And this when you have them, because now the ball is in your court.
I recently had a woman ask me that if she was silent with her man, would it make her man miss her? And I get this question a lot. So let's talk about when he'll miss you and when he won't if you go silent on him. He'll miss you if, 1, he likes you and he's attracted to you. The second time is if he has like an emotional connection or emotional addiction to you. Third is if there's a positive anchoring, like he has a really good positive association to you. And then the last one is if there's a contrast between how you normally are and how you are right when you're being silent. And then it doesn't work if he's not invested, if there's no real emotional connection, and if you're waiting for him to get the hint, or he has a lot of negative emotions associated with you. Follow me for more tips.
Men fall in love with women's absence. Let me go ahead and explain. Hello, my name is Carla, and restoring healthy mindsets is my thing. I mentioned in a previous video to not be clingy and why being clingy does not work. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you what to do to make a man miss you while you're absent. With whatever he's doing, most of the time, the men that we're attracting are hardworking men. And here's one thing that I don't want you to do. If he's being hardworking and he's spending time at work, don't nag that you miss him, that you want to spend time with him, or complain that he's not there. On the contrary, what I want you to do is be positive, be genuine, be lighthearted whenever you guys are talking on the phone, and always end on a good note. Always treat him right if you guys do live with each other. So that whenever the time comes that he comes back around, he's already going in with the mindset of she's my happy place or she's my peace. And that is so attractive for a woman to provide, that lightheartedness and that energy. Because even though you do miss him and you do want to see him, it's best for us not to nag, because this situation is out of his control. So instead, we want to do the opposite. We want to bring joy, peace, and comfort. This is why working on yourself and building that inner peace yourself is important, so that your man can find you addicting.
This is what happens when you go no contact with your man. I'm talking radio silence. You haven't heard from him in weeks. You might have even blocked him. But you can't help think, does this man miss me? Does he think of me? What's going on? What is he feeling? I wish I knew. Aren't you glad that I'm here? Because I'm going to tell you the exact 2 things that are going to happen. 2 things and 2 things only. I'm working with hundreds of women in my coaching, and this is the exact same thing I always tell them as well. And I cannot believe I'm revealing my secrets to you literally for free. But here we go. Option number 1. You have no contact. Radio silence. Nada. 0. And this man all of a sudden is realizing, you know what? She was nice. I was on a date with her. Maybe I was even in a relationship with her. Maybe it was a situationship. Whatever it was, we had something going on. But also, I don't actually miss her that much. Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, there was some level of attraction, some infatuation, some desire and superficial and physical attraction, but it's not that deep. Some level of desire and some level of attraction, but it's not important enough for me to reach out again and reignite the spark. I rather lean back, keep an eye out for other options, let the communication and connection fade out by itself by simply not reaching out again. And this is where men go crickets, and all of a sudden they disappear and you don't hear from them anymore. That's it. That's option 1. That's when they're just not that interested and they feel, okay, I'm going to look for somebody else. Option number 2, and you need to remember men are a little bit slower. They need to take a little bit more time. Okay, this doesn't happen instantly. This can happen after a few weeks or a few days, no contact. This is when they realize, man, I miss that woman. What we had was incredible, and only the no contact, the radio silence, makes me realize that I truly miss that person in my life. And she added a lot of value. She made me happy. Our connection is amazing. And sometimes then they're too insecure and they're scared of rejection, so they sometimes don't even reach out again. But between you and me, they're lost because you want a man that is confident enough to fight for you anyway. Moving on. However, sometimes they do feel like they want to reach out, and this is where the ball is in your court and you don't immediately take them back. Let them wait. Let them sit there. Let them guess what your next move is, and not being able to predict whatever you're gonna do. And that is how you stay the black cat.
There's nothing louder than the silence between the guy who fell first and the girl who fell harder. And eventually, he got bored.
A need for space. Men tend to feel a greater need for space, distance, because it's only in distance that we rebuild our testosterone. And men need to rebuild a lot more testosterone than women to be happy and healthy. So I'd spent the whole weekend with Bonnie. We were helping move her aunt up to where we lived in Northern California to help her because she was getting old. And we spent like 4 days packing up her place and doing the whole thing together. And when we got back up, exhausted and tired, I said to my wife, I'm going to go out with the guys tonight. And she went, oh, but we haven't had any time together. Now, I was able to translate that into, we haven't had any quality time together. But I knew I couldn't give her quality time. I needed to take time away from all that to be with my buddies. And if I said to her, I just need the time to be with my friend tonight. We're going to go to the movies. And tomorrow, I'm going to do something very special. I'm going to plan a dinner. We're going to go out on a date, and I'll surprise you what it is. And she was not happy with that. She looked at me with great disapproval, and I had to stand my ground and also assure her everything was going to be okay. If I was one of these wimpy guys who don't understand that you have to take care of your own self as well as your partner, it's a balance. He would have looked at those disapproving eyes and said, okay, I'll stay home tonight. And I knew if I said I stay home tonight, there wouldn't be any quality intimacy because I needed to find myself again as a separate entity. And maybe some women are saying, well, what about her? She also needs to find herself as a separate entity. And usually it's the women who tend to have the wisdom of how much time we should spend together, and men have the wisdom of saying we should have some time apart.